Would I buy this business? Today I'm reviewing a mobile donut business located just outside of Tampa, and I'm going to tell you if this is a good business to buy, if the financials are there, can you actually make money in the business, is it even worth pursuing, is the purchase price overpriced? I'm going to give you an inside look on how I value businesses because I've bought businesses in the past. If you like this type of content, hit like and subscribe. I post videos about how to start businesses, evaluating businesses, and telling you if you should purchase certain businesses that are for sale right now. So check it out, and here we go. All right, everybody, here we go. It is a mobile donut franchise for sale, and this is where I found it on BizBuySell. BizBuySell has some decent listings. Sometimes they don't, but this one is a pretty decent listing today. So it was established in 2021, asking price $249, and I'm going to get into the cash flow, gross revenue, and all this in a second. But let's go through the overview of what they're selling here. It's a cash cow. I don't really pay attention to too much of this because the first thing we need to do is we need to understand the numbers. A lot of times people will get sucked into this where they oversell you on all the great things that are going on in the business. Oh, there's 2 trailers. That's a good thing to point to. It's good to read through this, but do not tie any emotion to the description. You should only tie whether you buy a business to the numbers at first. If the numbers work out, then you can work out the rest of it and go into this detail. But so far, a lot of common things that are in here. And let's go to my actual breakdown Excel sheet here. So I'm breaking down the purchase price, and this is what you should do with every business. You really want to understand what is driving the purchase price. In this business, it's really the equipment, okay? So he's got the furniture, the equipment, the fixtures, everything valued at $185,000. Is that the actual value of all the equipment and trailers? Probably not. It's probably overstated a little bit, but you could always negotiate on the trailers and all the equipment by just probably getting an inventory list and really cross-checking it with where the market is. The goodwill and the value is anything that's over the actual physical assets that he's selling is $64,000. So the goodwill is the value of the business. He's saying that, hey, because I'm an established business, you're going to take it over. There's going to be revenue that's going to probably continue. This value of this business is worth $64,000. This is pretty common with these types of businesses that it's a kind of food vendor business. So there's not going to be a ton of value, ton of goodwill here. So $249, right? It's decent purchase price. Let's dive into this, right? Gross revenue is $220,000 and his cash flow is $75,000. So decent profit margin, but I would be curious to know why the cash flow is not higher, since he is stating that on his list here, he's saying that his profit margin is 83%, but yet his profit margin here is not 83%. I'm just curious to see where his money is going. That's a question I would put down here. But okay, so gross revenue, cash flow, $75,000. If we were to pay cash for this business, which I would recommend that it depends on what you want to do, but I'm going to tell you why you probably shouldn't down here in a second. But the cash flow return on investment, that means if you pay $249,000, you're getting $75,000 back, assuming that you're going to do the exact same thing he does. I would always say if you're taking over a business, I would always assume a 20 to 30% loss on the revenue, which would also equate to a 20 to 30% loss on the cash flow. Just because when you buy a business, there's going to be maybe some customers or relationships that may not trust you like they trust the owner, okay? So I would always bake in about 20 to 30% here. So return on investment is about 30%. Okay, that's decent. You're making 30% on your money. But let's go through the financing here. Down payment is about $50,000. So we're going to have to put 20% down on a 10-year note, 10% interest. And our loan amount is going to be $199. This is us dividing up the purchase price of $249. We haven't negotiated anything yet. So $50,000 down payment, 20% down, $199 loan amount. The term is a 10-year note. I would try to get the longest term you can. Usually standard is about 10 years. The longer the note, the better the cash flow is, okay? And I'll tell you that in a second. But the interest rate, 10%, I would get a variable interest rates because interest rates, I'm not for sure, but they're probably going to go down in the next 2 to 3 years. So this 10% should go down to probably about maybe 8-7%, hopefully in the next 3 to 4 years. Your monthly payment for this note is going to be $2,643, depending on where you get your loan, but this is just from a standard loan calculator. Your monthly cash flow before the loan, this is breaking down his cash flow of $75,000 is $6,250. So after the loan, $6,250 minus 2,643 is 3,607 on a monthly cash flow, and on a net annual basis is 43,284. So the only money that came out of your pocket from your savings was this down payment. Remember, we were going to buy the business. He gets a check for the full amount. The bank gives him a check. We only paid $50,000. We are paying the loan with his own money because we bought the business, right? So we're paying the money. So the most we've ever paid out of pocket is that $50,000 because he's got an established business. So your net profit after the 50 is $43,284, which is an 87% return on your down payment. So this is why I always say, I know financing, I know loans can be a headache and they are sometimes stressful, but you are going to get the best return on investment by financing, buying a business. Even with a 10% interest rate here, you are still making decent money. Even if you see a little bit dip on the gross revenue and cash flow, you're still going to make really good money on your return on investment on your $50,000 initial down payment. The opportunity with this business, as he mentioned here, is that he has 2 trailers, but he's only running 1 right now. So net profits, resale, sale includes 2 trailers, 2 prime Tampa, Florida territory. So I would want to know what's going on with the franchise. What are my restrictions? Where can I go? That's a good question. But essentially, he's running 1 trailer right now. We're buying 2. We could probably potentially get 2 setups and everything. If you're kind of located, this is a business that is not going to be, he mentioned semi-absentee and all this stuff. This is not a semi-absentee business. Okay, unless he's got a manager, which he doesn't at this revenue. He is running this business. He's overseeing things. He may not be dropping the donuts in the fryer, but he is working on this business at every event, and he is there. So it is not semi-absentee. This is going to be a business that you would probably need to be located just outside of Tampa to buy. Unless you had somebody, there's just not enough cash flow here. There's not enough cash flow to pay somebody to kind of manage this business where you make enough money where it makes sense. Okay, so this is not going to be a passive investment business. Questions I would ask. I would say, can you transition the relationships on the current events? What days of the week do you work? Are there any potential events that you don't do that you could possibly do? I would go through due diligence. I would go through the financial records, cash flow statement, profit and loss, balance sheet. I would ask for his bank statements to prove that his money is coming in, because bank statements are, a piece of document where you're saying, okay, the bank statements should match the financial records. And if they don't, then there's an issue. The tax returns should match the bank statements and the financial records, so everything should match 100%. If it doesn't, you need to know why. Okay, and then also I would want to meet the seller in person, because I believe that if I look somebody in the eye and I ask questions, it helps me better understand the business and understand the potential opportunity and look for red flags. If the guy's really weird, really sketchy, then that may not be a business that you want to buy. But overall grade of this business for sale, if I was located in Tampa and I was looking for a business to buy where I was able to, the nice thing about this business, if you set up a trailer, you get in those events, you're going to make money. The biggest thing is, are you ready for this monthly payment? My thing is, could you recreate this business without having to buy it? Would it take you longer to get to this point? Yes. So that's the thing about buying a business, is that it speeds up your acceleration to building profit, building revenue, versus you start from scratch. It's going to take you a long time to get to this point. So it kind of depends on what you want to do. But if you're in the area and you're interested in this type of business, I would definitely reach out to it. I think it's definitely something I would pursue if I was in that area, and I would look further into and just make sure that you are not impatient. Be very patient. These transactions take time. Do not rush into something, and find your business that you want to buy. Massive opportunity to buy businesses right now. So if you like today's content, hit like and subscribe. I'll be posting every day at 1:15 p.m., providing business-related content on how to start businesses, reviewing businesses for sale, and how to get yourself to the next level from an entrepreneur perspective.